Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Interesting. This is not right. 1 second. What is this? There we go. Nice. Hey, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with some Maverick, which I haven't played in a long time, which is nice. Hey Panda, a huge thank you for the sub. 14 months is very cool, so a huge thank you for that. Very cool to see you in chat. Yeah, haven't played Maverick in a while. I wouldn't say it's greatly positioned at the moment, but there are some players putting up some pretty nice results, which is nice, so that's pretty sweet. Hey Mining Man, welcome. Hope you're having a nice weekend. I have chosen to come back to Abzan Maverick, which I still think is probably one of the better versions of Maverick at the moment, but I say that with a little bit of experience. I have seen some really good lists running around with just green-white, a few with punishing fire, which is interesting. I think punishing fire is somewhat positioned in the metagame. I can't really say if it's well positioned. It's obviously quite good against Ragavan and Delver, but once you start getting the 3/3 DRCs and Murktides on board, punishing fire looks a little bit weak, so that's pretty interesting. The Black Splash in this version mainly for Plague Engineer in the sideboard, and then Kaya. I really like having a Planeswalker for some of the mid-range matchups, and Kaya's a pretty nice one. It does allow you to actually gain back that advantage straight away with the Neg 2, I believe, which is pretty sweet. Hey Hoss, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. And then we have, of course, Prismatic Ending as well, which the third color is really nice for. We do have access to colors 4 and 5 with mana dorks, which is fantastic. And then Grist. Grist is pretty sweet. I haven't played too much with it. JG Builds, welcome. But I do like that Grist gives you a bit more value out of your deck. So it also gives you a lot of flexibility, which is nice. So a card like Collect Oof in game 1 against Elves, if you naturally draw it, isn't that great, but Grist allows you to turn it into removal, which is really nice. Same thing for, say, Thalia against Death and Taxes, or just another sort of bear that doesn't line up too well, which is pretty nice. We don't have any great ways to generate real value out of it. I do like Grist in the Stoneforge Mystic builds as well, because it allows those 1/1 tokens to be a bit more of a threat, whereas just them on their own aren't that big of a deal for your opponent to have to deal with. But I do think it's powerful enough as a Green Sun's target that Grist is pretty nice in this deck. So will be cool to see some more of that. I've also gone for a double up of Endurance in the main deck. I think this card's just absurdly good. Really, really powerful. Probably not too powerful, which is nice. I think it's just a good legacy card, which is awesome. Hey Zach, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. And I just want to see it a lot. So I do have 2 in here. Really good against the Delver decks that are flying around. No pun intended. And then we have 2 in the board as well, which is cool. So with the board, I want it to be pretty clean. Plague Engineers for any sort of creature matchups we face. Deafening Silence for turn 1 interaction against combo or Dark Ritual decks. 2 Force of Vigor, just a really nice way to deal with things. Masked Vandal, which is nice. I do like Masked Vandal because it does deal with Kaldra, which is an indestructible artifact, which is pretty sweet. So I think Achilles was probably one of the first to come up with this tech, and it's been working really well for him. So cool to see Masked Vandal in there. Gaddock Teeg was a tough one. I did want to have it in the main deck, but I do want to find room for that second Endurance as well. So for game 1, we're using Collect Oof as kind of our way to Green Suns for combo hate. And I think that Collect Oof just has a bit more of a spread to it with decks like Death and Taxes or other Stoneblade decks. So I wanted to play the Collect Oof in the main deck over the Teeg, but I could definitely see that transitioning back and forth pretty easily. What else? We got Choke. Choke's pretty cool. Choke is probably one of my favorite ways still to try to hit the mana base of a lot of these blue stew decks, especially Band Control. So pretty happy to have Choke there. And then, yeah, I mean the rest of the decks is pretty straightforward. Looking to play some creatures, gain some advantage. Hey Mangork, thank you. It is sad to say that yeah, Maverick's not in the greatest spot, but I do think that it's a really fun deck, and if you enjoy playing Magic, you're going to do a lot better than you might think, so hopefully that turns into something here. Let's make this full screen. Legacy League, play points, Abzan Maverick, nice. Go to streaming, cool. Alright. Maverick has struggled. Yeah, I feel like if you do want to play green-white decks in Legacy right now, green-white depths is a pretty fantastic place to be. Having the mid-range plan with a combo finish or a combo deck with the mid-range finish is really nice. And I think that's a pretty powerful deck if you are wanting to jam some other reliquaries right now. Green-white Maverick is... Sorry, green-white depths is where I want to be. Alright, up against Matt. This hand is okay. My opponent was last seen playing Sneak and Show, which is pretty tough. Obviously not a great hand against Sneak and Show, but a pretty nice hand overall. Turn 1 Mum, turn 2 Ooze, which is one of those cases where Ooze could be great, but it could also just be dead, especially if my opponent is on Sneak. We have access to all our colors, which is nice, but definitely an interesting hand. I don't really like knowing what my opponent is on. I really like making some amount of my decisions in the blind. But it looks like, yeah, my opponent plays a lot of Sneak, so I'm going to mulligan this. Really want a Thalia hand. This isn't too bad either. It is just a turn 2 knight, which is kind of nice. Gives us access to Karakas, but currently doesn't because we don't have a forest. Unless we go turn 1 Green Suns for Dried Arbor, then we have a forest online. So that would mean I'll probably drop the Noble Hierarch if I keep this hand. But even then, is that enough? I don't think a 5 is really where I want to be, and I think this hand is okay. We have Green Suns for Dried Arbor for acceleration, we have a turn 2 Knight, and then another Green Suns as backup if needed. We have Endurance, so happy to keep this and bottom the Noble. Hey Epic, welcome. Could also definitely just keep that Noble and then use the second Green Suns later on for Dried Arbor. It's a good plan as well. But I do like that this way. Oh, is this gonna be a Chalice? Okay. This is probably then gonna be Mono-Red Stompy, which kind of makes me just want to go Wasteland on the Ancient Tomb. And then pass. Could potentially play the Knight, but really want to get this Soul Land out of play. Hey Matt, hope you're well. I think this is okay. Yeah, I'm going to put them on Mono-Red Stompy. Den of the Bugbear. If you control 2 or more other lands, Den of the Bugbear enters the battlefield tapped. Until end of turn, it becomes a 3/2 red goblin creature with an... Oh, cool. So it's like another goblin effect, which is pretty sweet. Oh, Beast is cool. I am just going to play the Knight here as a 3/3, which does play around Bone Crusher Giant, which is nice, because I believe Stomp deals 2 damage. There's also a world here where I actually just want to Green Suns for a Noble Hierarch, in case of something like land into Blood Moon. What do I want to do here? I actually don't mind Green Suns into creature. I could Green Suns to play around Chalice and just get a Noble Hierarch. And then next turn Beast. I actually don't mind that. I think getting Noble here is fine. I think the Exalted is relevant. More than getting Bird and getting access to black. Because in game 1 we actually have no black cards other than Grist. Wow, a missed land drop is huge. So now we can really apply some pressure by just playing Questing Beast and holding up Karakas. Which means it can't be dealt with some random spell that is able to deal with Questing Beast as a 4/4. But... missed out on 2 damage. What I did last turn was Green Sun for Noble, paying the extra mana so I could play around Chalice on 1. So I couldn't attack with the Dried Arbor as well. Unless I'm missing something. So if I just Green Sunned for 1 for the Noble Hierarch, I would have been hit by the Chalice. So I had to pump one more into it to play around the Chalice. But pretty lucky to get game 1. That's a big one, because now we get Force of Vigor, which is just huge in this matchup. Plague Engineer isn't too bad either. It's just a nice way to deal with the goblins. Green Suns. Oh, interesting. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, very true. I totally screwed that up, but luckily it didn't matter. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking of Chalice being like 2 mana for 1, and then of course Green Suns X = 1 plays around Chalice for 1 anyway. Chalice for 1 just stops getting Dried Arbor, so yeah, definitely missed out on 2 damage there. Okay, what do I want to take out? I'm pretty happy to lose the Ooze. Hey Darkspide, we are back on Mav, which is kind of cool. I don't mind the swords just because I kind of like dropping down on swords for the plagues, but there is a world where they also have those 4-drops that are quite good, that like when they attack you can exile a creature you have and flip top of your deck until you hit a creature. Could probably drop down an Endurance. Endurance isn't the greatest in this matchup, especially a double green. Happy to drop a Library as well. Ooze. I still don't mind Thalia. I think the taxing effect in the first strike is pretty good. Mum's solid. I do want the Vandal here as well. And probably the Gaddock Teeg, to be fair. I think Teeg is probably better than Collector Oof in this matchup, just to stop things like Fiery Confluence if they still play that. Or if they're on any sort of Planeswalkers from Chandra to Khan. Ramanap's interesting. I think probably a little bit overkill. Could potentially see myself going down on one ending. I think this is fine. Yeah, Master for Moon. Anything like that is pretty good. This is an interesting hand. It has access to both basics or one basic forest and then a black source for Plague Engineer, which isn't too bad. Obviously a turn 1 Moon would be pretty bad, but I can't really play around a turn 1 Moon unless I have a Force of Vigor hand. But I think this does enough that I'm pretty happy to keep it, especially being up a game. Chalice is fine. Second Plague, okay. Just gonna pass with the fetch land up, meaning we can respond to a Blood Moon effect. Rabble Master. That's gonna be okay. I probably am just going to 6 here. I could get the forest out if I really wanted to. Pretty happy just to see how this plays out. Verdant, okay. Here I'm probably happy just to go basics into Teeg and then keep this Verdant for the black source. So let's go Forest, Plains, Teeg. I would be pretty happy just to trade this Gaddock Teeg with the Rabble Master, I believe, as well. Another Soul Land's really nice for my opponent. This deck really needs to keep those sort of 3-drops going. War Boss, okay. So here, I think I am happy just to keep my life total pretty high. I'd be taking 8 here, going down to 9. I think I'm happy to trade the Teeg with the Rabble, and then the Goblins get cleaned up anyway by the Plague, and then we have the Plague as an answer for the War Boss. I'm going to get a Bayou, and then play Plague on Goblin, just to clean up the board a bit. And then having a second one is really nice as well, in case they have something like a Stomp. Or even like a Chandra here would be pretty good. They could be on the 4 damage pitch elemental. That's a pretty good card. Fury, I believe it's called. Okay. Well, there's Shatter. Alright. They're down to 2 cards. Wasteland here would be fantastic. Force of Vigor is actually pretty good as well, let's be honest. So what do I want to do here? I definitely want to play the Plague. I'm just trying to think of what land I want to play. I don't really want to be taking the damage from Canopy. I don't believe my opponent plays any legendary creatures, so I don't think Karakas is actually relevant. It might just be Karakas though, as a just in case. Not sure if any new cards are seeing play or being tested. And that's a really good card. Alright. What do they flip? Hopefully not Fury. I think Fury is probably the worst card that they could... Oh, the best card for them. They hit another war boss. Okay. Okay. So we can ending one Legion war boss. I really don't want them having this around. Also, just my life total has to be preserved a little bit. But not a great position. To be fair, I could also take 4 here. Exile another attacking creature. So currently the Plague Engineer is keeping all Goblin tokens off the field. So I could just block here, which means I take 5, go to 4. Use a Prismatic Ending on the other Legion war boss. And then have the Plague Engineer next turn for this. I think that's probably how we get there. Noble. Okay. So... I don't think there's a world where I have to hold up the Force of Vigor. Hey Lee, by the way. Nice to see you. Hope you're well. Get rid of this. Had tacos? Nice. Very cool. I will play the Noble. Ah, of course! Of course! Of course! Welcome back, Dougal. Welcome back to Magic. It's even there. We even played around it last time. Yikes. Yep. It's right there. It's right there. I knew it was there. I saw it. You see it? You saw it. We all saw it. Let's be honest. We all saw it. Pretty tough anyway. Like even if we hold the Noble for the Force, then we die. We die anyway. It does claim another victim. Probably pretty happy just to run this back. Thankfully the punt didn't matter, but it's a punt nevertheless that I should just like... It's one of those cases of looking at the board state and just realizing what's on the board state before you make a decision. Bit of a slow hand, to be honest, and with the current setup of our mana, the Knight's only coming down as a 2-2, which is open to a lot of their removal. I think I'm pretty happy to mulligan this hand. The Prismatic Ending isn't doing too much until turn 3. Like, the Force is okay, but... You know, even something... I guess we have the Knight for the Force in case they turn 1 Moon, but... Pretty happy to mull this. Okay, this is actually a pretty nice hand. We don't have black mana, but... Pretty happy to keep it bottom 1 Plague, and we have turn 1 Noble into turn 2 Thalia. With a Wasteland, which is kind of nice. Opponent on 7. Moon's not too bad here, thankfully, thanks to Noble, but you never know. Okay. Do have Force of Vigor as a nice out here. Green Suns, a few things, which is nice. Here's 3 mana. My opponent could go for a Stomp on Noble to turn off all my mana. Should be pretty strong. They obviously have a few options here. Spyglass. Okay. That's gonna be fine. Maverick vs. Moon Stompy, 2021 Legacy. Love to see it. Probably just naming the knight here. Yeah. That's fair. Green Suns is what I want to probably be doing. Mum's not too bad. Something like a Fiery Confluence here off like a land and Spirit Guide would be pretty rough. Or Fury. Fury's pretty good. Chalice? No. My opponent definitely has the time to set up Chalice first, to turn off the swords, and then maybe drop a creature next turn. Fury really strong there. Didn't really care about the creatures, probably other than Mum, but the heating my mana is definitely the worst part. A little too late. Yeah, I guess they were only one land away from Fury, but I guess if they let the Mum untap, then the Fury gets a little bit worse. Yeah, I think we'll just concede to that. Rough. Definitely not that much of a tough matchup. Just sometimes you got got, and I got got. Nice, Matt. Very cool. Yeah, just the one league, and then I'll try to get outside this afternoon, which is nice because it's pretty nice weather here in Brisbane. But it's good to be back. It's good to be back streaming. Definitely got some content going up on YouTube as well. I recently put up some exhibition matches I played with Ali, who recently came second with lands in the mocks, which is cool, just because he wanted some help with the green-white depths matchup, which is pretty cool. How was the head yesterday? Yeah, the head today is a little bit rough. Had a Bucks party last night, so definitely. I think I can see it. What do we got? What do we got? Pretty good hand. Pretty happy to keep this. A little bit of a tough one because it's kind of a 6 if the Collector Oof is just not relevant, but pretty happy with this, especially with the Green Suns, Mana Acceleration. Illusions of Grandeur. Okay. Blue-Red Delver. Could also be Delveless Delver. Pretty happy just to go for a basic here. And play the Noble Hierarch. Could play the Mum if I was really scared of like a dashed Ragavan, but I think getting the acceleration down is just so huge. Being able to play 2 spells next turn around days is just where I want to be. Opponent really thinking about this. Maybe a Brainstorm into days. Brainstorm. Definitely an interesting one. We have seen Blue-Red Delver drop from cards like Chain Lightning and more towards Unholy Heat. But I assume that my opponent has a few ways to deal with the Noble Hierarch outside of just countering it. Nice. Yeah, Ragavan's really cool. I would be interested to know what it's like in the mirror. Wasteland's fine. Actually, Wasteland for me here would be a really nice pickup. Dried Arbor. Okay, I care more about the Mother of Runes. So we're just going to go for a Plains here and play the Mum around days. But not play the Noble around days. Nice thing as well is that now we have 2 fetches in the bin, so a Knight's going to come down as at least a 4/4, so that's pretty sweet. There goes a Daze, which is nice, so now we can get this down, and then hopefully next turn go for Green Suns. Oh, they had the Daze, okay. That's fine. Dash Ragavan. Alright. Oof. Hitting my own mum is really good. Scrib Ranger. Double Wasteland. Nice. Save the Dried Arbor. We do have Caracas for Ragavan, which is pretty nice, so not too bad. Unless they play Ragavan and then hit it. Interesting, no dash. Okay. Ooh. I guess Oof is interesting because it does turn off the Ragavan in a way. So I think I'm actually happy to Wasteland first, plays around days. Hey Muzzaball, welcome. Hope you're well. And I do get an attack in here, which is nice. Yeah, nice bear that actually does something, which is nice. No attack. Huh. Did not expect that. Did not expect that. Ramanap. Okay. Pretty happy to play the Dried Arbor and pass. Dried Arbor also allows us just to block Ragavan and then get it back if they don't try to give pro green first. And the Scrubland I can't save from Scrib Ranger anyway, so I might as well play Dried Arbor here. And then hopefully just try to get to Green Suns for Night. Could also try to develop my mana, but I think right now it's okay. Yeah, Oof having a a game 1 impact against Delver is not something that usually happens, so pretty happy with this. And opponent just missing land drops, which is fantastic for us. No days either for my opponent, so pretty happy here to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could try to get double mana out of the Dryad Arbor, but they can Wasteland in response to it, which is interesting. Yeah, I mean the Ragavan's also quite nice because it is an X3 body against a 2/1 currently, so I actually do like that. Yeah. Even though the Wasteland for them is really not doing a whole lot, it's just quite nice. Wasteland now. They can try to Wasteland the Dryad Arbor. We can then untap the Scrib Ranger, returning the Dryad Arbor. A lot of these decks are moving towards Steam Vents as well, outside of basics, so they might have, yeah, they might just be locked out, which is kind of nice. Take my mom. I'll take your land. Alright. This is actually pretty interesting because I don't have anything like Path to Exile on the board. I don't think we actually need it. What do I want to drop? I am not a big fan. What do I want to drop? I actually just want the 2 Endurances. I'm just going to lower my curve a little bit. I'm going to take out the Questing Beast. I'm going to take out the Knight of Autumn. I don't think Oof is really necessary. And I also could see myself bringing in a choke. I don't want both chokes, I don't think, but definitely nice. The only reason that I don't want both chokes is that I don't want a hand with 2 chokes in it. And with Blue-Red Delver having so many low to the ground threats now, if you're tapping out on turn 3 for a choke, you could just lose on turn 4. Plague's definitely interesting. I believe that DRC is also a human, so a DRC has a 1/1 and a unflipped Delver can be hit, but it's also a 3-drop, which is a pretty big ask. I'm going to see how this goes. Maybe something like 2 Plague. The Sylvan Library is just a little bit too rough, especially against such an aggressive deck. I think this is pretty nice. It's tough as well, because at least against some of the old Rug Delver builds, Plague Engineer was just a really nice blocker for Tarmogoyf as well, or for Grixis, something like Gomag Angler. But now with Murktide Regent being their winning card, it's a little bit more, yikes. Delver, okay. These are the hands where I'm pretty happy just to Wasteland the Volk here. Even though they're ahead with the Delver. The Revealer Days, sure. Dragon Rage Channeler. Ending's pretty nice. Okay. Let's start off with basic Noble. This is tough because although it plays around Wasteland, it does mean we can't 2-spell next turn by doing both Prismatic ending and Swords to Plowshares, but I think that's okay. They've already played a land as well, which is interesting, so they can't actually bolt this right now. They could do something like Submerge or Gut Shot, which I have seen out of these decks, but otherwise we're looking pretty good. It also means next turn I can't go Wasteland, Prismatic, and Swords to Plowshares, playing around Daze for both spells. If I got a Savannah, I could have, but pretty happy that I played around Wasteland here. They chose not to shuffle with the Ponder, which is interesting. Okay. Well then, let's start with ending number 1. They're going to force it. Pitching a Daze. The second ending here is really nice because it means that I can save the Swords to Plowshares for a Murktide Regent. A Sheen! 3 years? Paul. Too kind. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing well. Very cool to hear about the new space. I'm sure you guys are looking forward to it. We have to do something. We do have to do something. I've said that before, but we do have to do something because 3 years is just mind-blowing. I have to play something with a bit of Paul spice on it. Oh yeah, I was talking about your new rental as in apartment place, of course. Here I'm happy just to... 1 Daze is gone. We do have a Knight as a 5/5, which is pretty nice. I kind of like holding up Endurance here around Daze. New opponent is actually sick? Very cool, okay. I'm keen. Will they use Wasteland here? No. Cheap as hell? That's what I want to hear. Surprise block is hilarious. Especially if I can take out this Volk in combat. Because I can take them off red before they can bolt. And then if they do want to bolt, I can just not block, which is kind of nice. Hey Ben, welcome. Hope you're well. Oh. I'm actually going to... trigger on the stack Wasteland. Just to take that extra land away from them. This also means if they want to float red and bolt this... that's fine. Wow. They're going all in. I mean, they could go after the Noble here. Luckily, we get to go to blocks, so we'll see what they do with the red. They could just go after the Noble if they have a removal spell. Try to keep us off white. Yeah, okay. Yeah, pretty funny setup here. Come on, white sauce. Oof. Close. Question is, do I want to play it? I think I do, in case I draw a land, and then can play knight. Magic. Nice. There we go. Force this. Too good. That's the magic I like. Good old paint. I do think that Maverick has a pretty solid matchup against Delver now, especially with Prismatic Ending. Alright. Nice to bounce back. Alright. We are in. Artisan. A pretty nice hand. It doesn't rely on the Noble Hierarch for white mana, but I think that's okay. Any new Innistrad cards you want to try in Maverick? There is one that looks pretty good. It's a little bit like Qasali Pridemage. On one side, it's Qasali Pridemage for 1 and a green, which is great, especially on mana, not having the green-white cost. And then when it flips, it keeps that ability. So for 1, you can sack it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. But also, it gains the Trigon Predator effect, where when it attacks and deals damage, I believe, you can then destroy any artifact or enchantment, which is pretty sweet. I think that's where Maverick needs to kind of move towards, is more value-type creatures that aren't just kind of the 1-for-1 effects like Qasali Pridemage. I think it might be the werewolf. It might also be a human. It might be like a human werewolf. This could be green-white depths. Okay. It could also be elves. I think if it's elves, I'm pretty happy to waste here. Swords. Well, that's pretty interesting as well. Could go turn 1 Noble and turn 2 Wasteland and Swords. My only thought is, if this is elves, is wasting here, putting them off something like a Glimpse Chain a lot faster. I actually think right now, because I'm not too sure what they're on, they could be on Maverick, they could be on elves, they could be on green-white depths. I'm pretty happy to just kind of build out my own plan, gain more information, and then know what this Swords and Wasteland actually should be hitting. This definitely feels like a very elves forest. That's all that I'm saying. Oh, Yav. Okay. Library. Nice. That's cool. Okay. Nice. Hazajad, too kind. Too kind. Sup to yourself. I hope you're doing well. Okay. Interesting turn. If they are on something like Green-White Depths, which I assume the Sylvan Library gives away. Elvish Reclaimer sees both in both. Dried Arbor sees play in both. Yavimaya does see play in both, but probably more so in Green-White. I know that Julian wasn't the biggest fan of Yavimaya. I do like Swords to Plowshares. I think that's the start. I think that's better than getting Knight on board. But it's definitely interesting. The only reason that I want a Swords now is that Elvish Reclaimer, if they are on Green-White Depths, does have access to Sejiri Step, which can act like a Mother of Runes and give protection, so I think I'm actually pretty happy to build out my mana. Go and get a Birds of Paradise. My opponent here could most likely pay 8 here, go down to 12, get some really good value out of this library. Hey Chunkbuckle, thank you very much. Nice to see you in chat. Hope you're well. Okay, there's white. Okay, here we go. Green Suns for Knight. Alright. Well, at least we have the swords for that, and then our own creature, which is nice. What if we Green Suns for Scrib Ranger? That's pretty cool. I think just swords into our own Knight is better, though. Can we do both? They're also a 12, so like Questing Beast here is pretty Pretty cool. Green Sun's for 2 for Scrib Ranger. Then we get to untap Noble Hierarch, return the Forest. And then we have 3 mana left. No, we have 4 mana left. Oh, can we Scrib Ranger Knight and Swords? 3 mana. No. Untap 2, 3. No, okay, so it's 3 and 3. Yeah. 3 and 3 is still cool. But I think just Swords and Knight here is best. But definitely a tough one. This is always an interesting matchup. I feel like Maverick has the tools to keep up with depths, but... I could have also Scrib Swords Thalia, but I felt like Knight is going to have the biggest impact in this game, so I really want to get that on board. Reclaimer, cool. Swords. Sure. Could still be holding up the combo here, which is a little bit scary. Windswept Heath is pretty nice because it allows us to probably just go for another Knight here. I could also get Questing Beast going, which is pretty nice. I can also hide that I'm playing black. Attack for 5. I do want to hold up the Wasteland here because they are representing crop rotation the Forest into Dark Depths, tap that and Yavimaya for mana, and then copy it with Stage. And thankfully with Reclaimer the lands come in tapped, so something like a Karakas off the Reclaimer isn't the greatest either. Maze, okay. Hopefully my opponent knows that Maze of It does nothing, because Maze of It untaps target attacking creature, and then prevents all damage, but Questing Beast says combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. Free Vigilance. Safekeeper. Interesting. Did not expect Safekeeper. My opponent has 3 cards here. They're also at 2. What are they going to try to block? Ah, interesting. Okay. What my opponent's going to probably try to do here... I guess what they could do is use Sylvan Safekeeper to put lands they control into the bin to make Reclaimer a 3/4. But what I could do preemptively is Green Suns for Scavenging Ooze, so that the Reclaimer could never be a 3/4. That's interesting. That is a big call though, because that's a pretty big waste of a Green Suns. Oh, we could also Green Suns for Grist. But Grist is out of the question because of Hexproof being given to the creature that I try to fight and kill. Alright, let's see if the ooze line works. Hopefully they're not relying on this Maze of Ith. Oh, they have a sword? Oh. Well, it's much less fun. Okay, well, that happens. This line is this line is way less cool. And now Screws looks pretty bad. Interesting. Both graveyards at turn 5 are 2 Swords to Plowshares and a Windswept Heath. I don't think I've ever seen that. Very true. They couldn't have relied on Maze, but then what they could have relied on is like crop rotation into Dark Depths and then blocked with Dark Depths. Another Reclaim is okay. Oh, okay. It's pretty good. Maybe I should have played the Thalia last turn. I don't mind just eating some things here. Yeah, the tough thing is that the Maze answers Bird. We have Wasteland for Maze, but then they can copy it with Thespian Stage, and then we just don't have the Wasteland for the Dark Depths either. This is going to be a tough one. I will attack. There's really no need to because of the Maze. I guess it does take it off a mana. They can go and get their own Wasteland perhaps here. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely eating this. Tough. Second sword was really nice. Second Wasteland. Well, I guess we go for Dark Depths. Could draw into like Mother of Runes and then Caracas. And we need the Maze. Maybe the Screws play was just a little bit too cute. Should have just attacked, see what happened, and then use the Green Suns post-combat. Because I don't really care if my opponent ditches all their lands to make their Reclaimer a 3-4 just to block it to survive one more turn. Alright, we can tap that for mana. Safekeeper here really strong as well, because that actually is really good against Caracas, of course. But we can always try. Yeah, I don't think we have an out. But might as well take the extra minute to see how they play this out. There's probably a world where I should have just played the second Thalia as well to eat it, but seeing that they're hitting in multiples of 20, I don't think the extra life matters. I probably want to block this one because next turn they can just give protection with Sajiri Step to get through the bird. So I should actually block just while I have the chance to. Also note there's no way that I can float mana with the bird and then eat it with Ooze because it changes phase, so I lose the mana. Might as well see if we can try to go wide, perhaps. That might be an option. Put them in a spot where they have to block with, like, the Sylvan Safekeeper. Okay. Interesting. Sure. Probably getting Sajiri Step here. Alright, that's at least one out. Ah. There is a world where they have to maze their own Merit Lage, end of damage, to have it as a blocker. Ay, ay, ay. Prismatic Ending would be pretty sweet. It's very true. Attack with the Lage, that's going to be okay. Can't block that. Safekeeper's going to make it really difficult. Grist. No black mana. I guess we have black mana through night. Yeah. Unfortunate. Alright. Plagues are good. Endurance, Force of Figure isn't too bad. Thalias can come out. Collect Oof can come out. Mum's Birds, Grist, Knight, Endurance, Ramanap. Maybe not all Endurances, let's be honest. Maybe not all Plagues either. Just 2 Plagues seems fine. 61 cards. Ramanap, Scrub Ranger, Ooze. Ooze and Endurance are nice because they make their Knights and Elvish Reclaimers so little. Sword is great, Mum's great. Plague's just a nice easy way to deal with Sylvan Safekeeper as well. I actually really like Beast. I think Beast is pretty strong. It's actually a tough one. Maybe I actually don't need both forces, just the one. Yeah. Okay. This hand isn't too bad. Turn 1 Green Suns for Dried Arbor. Turn 2 we have Knight, which is a nice answer for either Mox Diamond or Sylvan Library. Endurance is okay, but to be fair, a lot of their creatures are just going to be staying at bay, like Reclaimer and Knight. So I don't see Endurance being able to keep one of their creatures from going out. So the only reason they're like Grist in this deck against Green White Depths is that it is a nice way to find removal off Green Suns. I think his hand's just a little bit meh. I'm gonna mull. I do want like a Noble Hierarch start. This is actually pretty good. I'll keep this. It's got a lot of removal. I kind of just want to bottom a Prismatic Ending. Why not Kaya as an answer to Marit Lage? Could definitely try, but I think Kaya is just a little bit too slow. Yeah, usually my opponent will set up a line where they have the time to either have Step or Sylvan up. I think I might just do one Prismatic Ending. Happy to fetch for a white source here. Savannah into Green Suns, which also turns on a lot of my 3-drops like Knight next turn. Opponent went to 6 as well. Library's a pretty fantastic draw. So let's go ending this and then play Library, which is exactly the card that I want to get out of it. Get out of this mulligan. My opponent could have their own Prismatic Ending here for the Library, which would be really good. And it looks like they do. Okay. That's not too bad, because now we get to hold up Sword or Ooze and attack for 1. Not really where I want to be, but can't be too unhappy. I also have enough mana not to have to use the swords in end step on a creature. I can untap, see what I draw, and then go from there. Because there's a world where I might want to like Green Suns for Grist and trade the Dryad Arbor for a creature and hold the swords for something else. That also puts more creatures in the bin for Scavenging Ooze, which is relevant. They went to 7, wow. They get a shuffle. It's pretty cool. Sure. Even here we still have the sword, which is nice. They're playing around Wasteland, but not playing around Caracas, which is kind of nice for us. Another ending would be great. Oh, they get Yavimaya. Interesting. To Green Suns? Interesting use of crop rotation. Did not expect this. path. In response, eat those lands. And I might as well eat the other stuff. They're gonna endurance. Targeting themselves. Take the flagstones. Take the prismatic ending. Go and get a plains. Interesting turn. Own endurance. Okay. Probably want to hold the swords for now, to be fair. Just pass with endurance up. At least endurance into an exalted creature can start attacking. Wonder if they attack here, because if they do, we can trade. Interesting, they are going to attack. What's their last card? It's a pretty big win for us, let's be honest. I don't want to use the swords just yet because I don't have an answer to the Dark Depths. I'm happy to untap and see what I draw into. Okay. I do just have to hit the knight here, unfortunately. And see what they get off the top. Do have a lot of answers here. The Dark Depths is going to be a concern. Sure. Alright, Dech. It's me here. It's Dukes from the Green Suns. Give me a shot. Give me a shot. Close. Close. I see where we're at. I see what's happening. We do still have the endurance, so outside of something like a Path to Exile or a Step or a Crop, we're okay. We have another turn. Hey T-Bane. Rough. Tough. F's in chat. F's in chat, please. Close games. I feel like Sylvan Library is the big card there, because if Sylvan Library sticks, just being able to really dig deep with that and, you know, not really care about a life total is a pretty big win. Alright, up against J-Crawl. Hey, Rashad and Port, welcome. I actually don't mind this hand. Has some nice interaction, and we already have acceleration, which is great. But other than that, it's a bit meh. It's really a 6-lander with a Green Suns. I think we can actually do better. Something like a Noble into a Thalia, I'd be pretty happy to see. Noble into no green mana. That's pretty tough. Okay, keep this, put back Collector Oof. And then we have an interesting decision. Probably just putting back the Knight here. We can grab it with Green Suns because Green Suns represent it, and it also represents anything else. So if we are up against like a combo deck, Green Suns can just be Collector Oof, which is nice. But this is just going to be good old Blue-Red Delver. Oh, there's the Knight. Happy to use the fetch first because this means if we draw into a fetch, we can play the Knight as a 4/4, which is pretty strong. That's fine. Iteration into the bin. Wow. Maybe they're just looking for lands. See what the Ponder does. Murktide into the bin. Wow. Well, I feel like if we're drawing into a wasteland, we're definitely wastelanding. I probably don't mind untap, use ending around days, and then use the Green Suns for Dried Arbor. Chose not to shuffle. Thalia is actually really strong. I'm pretty happy to throw Thalia here into the mix. Maybe not. Thalia really taxes us if we don't do these first. Now we're Gucci. This also means outside of Gutshot, our opponent can't dash Ragavan, which is nice. If we don't draw a land next turn, we can also play Thalia around days, which is pretty strong. Creature or white source? They go after white source. Okay. I think we just have to race a little bit here with Knight. They didn't have a daze last turn, but they have a force this turn, sure. It does hit a Murktide, which is actually pretty good for us. Because we do have a lot more answers to the Dragon Rage Channeler than we do the Murktide Regents. Alright. Another Murktide. Rough. Oh, red. Okay. That's fine. What are the chances? They have one card left. I could go with Thalia around days here, but I feel like it just has to be Knight. Nice. I guess they could have Unholy Heat. Unholy Heat would be really strong. That does deal with Knight here. Iteration's fine. Could probably find a room for Bojuka Bog in the 75. I think there's a lot of graveyard decks running around that is actually pretty relevant. Especially to turn off Dragon Rage Channeler. Blue, Ponder. Delver goes to the bin. Interesting. Maybe they're saying it's a little bit too slow. Oh, okay. There we go. Ponder chose not to shuffle. Interesting. Now the question here is, do I attack or go? Blastzone's pretty cool. I do think that Blastzone is a consideration against Delver decks, but usually just because Maverick's a deck that builds to the board a lot, the Blastzone does hit us a lot, especially because we're usually spending the early game to cast Mana Dorks and things like Sylvan Library. But I do like Blastzone in the 75. Nah. I think Wasteland here is just so good. It means they have to have another land to cast anything, really. And it also really increases the clock of this night. Sure. Chose to not shuffle again. Alright, Swords to Plowshares one time. Prismatic Ending would be nice as well. Some sort of 1 mana removal spell. Boom. There we go. That's exactly what we want to see. There's all four Volks in the bin, which is pretty huge. What do you got? Mountain. Bolt. Okay. Attack with Ragavan. Nice. Green Suns. Righto. Oof. I think we just attack for 10, attack for 10. Because now, even with Wasteland on the Dryad Arbor, this grows to a 10-10. So will they keep the Ragavan back? They won't. Maybe they have Murktide? Oh, they do have Endurance. Oh, Endurance is so good! It turns the night off. No! Oh, rough. Ban Ragavan. Ban it. Ban it! So good. I mean, that's why you play the card. That's why you play the card. Forest. Alright. Adapt. Adapt. They do have Wasteland here, so they could like Wasteland Bolt the Mum and then attack for lethal. Interesting. They're going to allow us to block? Why? Maybe they just have Bolt? That's probably it. They just have Bolt. No. Okay. Okay, so if they have Bolt or does Unholy Heat only go at the player? Only go at the creature, sorry? Yeah, okay. So I could attack with Knight here, put him to 5. But then if they have Bolt, they bolt me easily. But if they have an Unholy Heat, they can Unholy Heat the Mum, I then tap the Mum, and then Endurance just gets through anyway. But I feel like I'm only winning this game if I attack. I'm not winning the game if I just hold back the knight and allow them to draw into something like Bolt, so... Yeah, Fox, that's a great one. It's only if they draw Unholy Heat here that I was kind of weary of. I guess like Dashed Ragavan does it as well. Maybe that's a consideration. Oh, no attacks? No way! No way! Oh my gosh. Pro green. What a game! What a game! Haha! So good! So good! Oh my gosh. Alright, sideboarding. Oh, that was sweet. I don't want both chokes, but that was really cool. I have definitely heard of the old hit reanimate and then hit an opponent's creature like a Grizzlebrand, which seems pretty nuts. Okay. So let's look at some of the hate bears that can come out. Collector Oof can come out, even though it has some nice synergy with Ragavan. Sylvan Library can come out. Beast is just as a 4-drop a bit too much. I think I'm happy with this. There is some thought of Plague Engineers, but I kind of like everything else. Knight of Ording can potentially come out. I do like Grist. It might just be like one Plague if I just want to have one in the deck that I might be able to find. Tough hand, because we don't have a turn 1 white source, which I think just makes this a mulligan. We don't really have great removal either. I think post board, I really want to be the control player and just keep them off as many creatures as possible, and then try to get there with some late game knights. This is much better. This is a fantastic hand. We're going to keep it, and I'm going to bottom the Bayou, which is a little bit spicy because it means that we have to kind of go for a... I guess we could also... I think it is the Bayou. Yeah. I'd love to draw into a second fetch land. That's probably the best draw here. Opponent kept 7. Alright. Mum. Ooh, does that change things? See, now we're in a little bit of a tough position because I didn't keep the second green source. It means that it's obviously quite bad if I go for Windswept Heath into Forest. I could cast the Noble, but then if the Noble gets burned, I can't play Thalia or Mum next turn. If I get a Savannah, I can cast everything that I have even without the Noble, but Wasteland is obviously a big thing. I think with this hand I have to kind of go for the Savannah, and just like, if they have Wasteland, they have Wasteland. This Noble also means next turn, if both of these survive, I can 2-spell, which is fantastic. Unholy Heat, okay. In upkeep. Ah, because they want to see what's on top, okay. Oh, are they trying to find a land? I think they are. Okay. Well then. Ooh, big yikes. Big yikes. Yes. So good. Wow, no force either. I guess I get a free attack here as well, outside of Gutshot or Submerge. So I'm actually happy just to pass here. Then next turn I can just Green Suns for Dried Arbor, which is really nice. Unless they Wasteland me. Okay. Interesting games. Get a free attack. And then see what happens here. Classic. Magic. Yes. Savannah. Dryad. Thalia. Alright, that's a start. They can't cast anything right now outside of a free effect like Gut Shot or Submerge, but we do have the Mum open, which is really nice. Basic. Delver, okay. They can cast Delver, that is correct. Another Green Suns. Oh, I did not mean to skip there. I guess I am holding up Swords to Plowshares, which has some relevance, but I did want a Green Suns there for another Mana Dork. Could be representing Scrib Ranger here as well. Playing around Force Negation. Exactly, Mr. Lee. I guess they couldn't have because they were tapped out and couldn't pay for Thalia, but still I do like the thought. I think here I will just fire off a sword. But probably on the Delver. Actually, sorcery, instant, land, and this is 4 types? Yeah. I think I will go after the Dragon Rage Channeler. The Surveil is also very relevant. Ah, perfect. Pay Thalia attacks. Noble. I guess Bird is also pretty nice because it is a blocker for Delver, but I think we're okay here. I kind of want them to hit a I kind of want them to flip the Delver because they can't cast anything right now, which is nice. And I believe they don't have any lands in hand. Yeah. Which is nice for us. Can also go for Scrib Ranger next turn, which gives us access to double Mum effects. It's pro blue and flying, so see if they have an answer for that. They did just show Brainstorm, which is fine. Alright, so let's go. I guess I don't need to lose the life there. I can just play a land first if I really want to. It means I won't be able to get like the effect of Scrib this turn, but that's probably okay. Maybe the 1 damage doesn't matter because I'm still at a factor of 3. And what I could have done is actually untapped a creature here so that in end step, I could untap Dryad Arbor. No, I have to return the Dryad Arbor. It actually works out either way, but I could have played the Dryad Arbor this turn as my land drop using Scrib Ranger and then drawn a card here in their end step. So definitely does matter for playing it. And maybe that's actually incorrect. Maybe I should have gone to 11, used the Canopy, got Scrib Ranger, returned Dryad Arbor, replayed it. Alright, something like Blazing Volley here is definitely go time. Or Murktide. Currently not the greatest because we do have a Scrib Ranger in play, which is really nice for us. They don't have any great attacks here either. I am going to use Scrib Ranger's ability, I think. Untap Noble, return Dried Arbor. And then draw a card. Oof, okay. Well, that's really nice, because it means that now we can deal with the Delver and then just have Scrib Ranger to hit the Murktide, which means that Mum doesn't have to be, like, used or overused. So let's deal with this. Let's take them off this Volk. And then I'm going to give Pro Blue. Get in for 3. Yeah. It's a tough one for them because the double mums with Scrib is really nice. So pretty happy to get that. So we're going to fight it out for the 3-2. Which isn't too bad. I feel like some of these games have been really close, which is nice. All right. Up against Eddie. Okay, yeah, it's a nice hand. I definitely don't mind this hand. Acceleration, removal, hate piece, mana. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Ah, okay. Yeah, this is a tough one. Don't have a great out. I could, like, try to prismatic ending the Lotus Petal, but I think it's just going to be a case of trying to get one more turn and try to prismatic ending the Painter's Servant. Might as well play the Canopy, then might as well play the Bird. We are 6ing. Yeah, Painter's Servant making these multicolored cards, or cards multicolor, is pretty cool. Yeah. Please give us one more turn. Opponent having a really good think. Recruiter, perhaps? Crater Maker. Okay. Sure. Sure. Probably happy just to get a basic here. And try to prismatic ending this. Could see a blast effect here, but I like getting the basic in case of like a Blood Moon. I'm not too sure if Painter plays Blood Moon in the main deck, but something to consider. Oh, okay, that's pretty nice. Lightning Shooter. Urza's Saga. Okay. Well, we are a Wasteland deck, so that's not too bad. Recruiter, sure. That's good, because Recruiter gets Painter's Servant, and then Saga can go and get Grindstone, which is pretty scary. Grist. Okay. I think that means we want to play Knight this turn, so we can get black mana the following turn to play Grist and take out Painter's Servant. Blast. It's pretty good. I guess black mana does it here. Oh, still a great draw, let's be honest. Alright. We can actually go Noble, Thalia, Cradle, Play, Oof. Maybe I'll go with Thalia first. Yeah, the random move there really, really strong. Another Thalia. Okay. Let's draw a card. That way we can try to draw into black mana. Scoos. Not good enough. Play Ooze. Eat Crater Maker. One nice thing as well is that because Grist is a creature spell, it isn't taxed by Thalia, so I can cast this for 3 mana, which is really cool. And at least like Pyroblast means 2 mana for Pyroblast, 3 mana for Grindstone, and they currently only have 4 mana, so they have to have Mana Source and Pyroblast to be able to Grindstone me. Actually, no, the Great Furnace is turned off by the Scavenging Ooze, so they currently only have 3 mana. Petal's fine. I guess Petal does make the construct bigger, but what we can do is block with Thalia and then return with Karakas. Collector Oof turns off the Furnace. Apologies, because of activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated. No attacks. Interesting. Well, definitely going to use Scoos to eat birds. Untap, draw black mana. Nice. I will just get a scrub land. Black. Very true. If they kill the Oof, then they get access to a Great Furnace. Nice. I like that a lot. Nice. Now we can grow the Ooze. replay Thalia, or the second copy, and get in here for 7. This is fine. In a really good spot here. Land. Another recruiter. Wonder what they can get. Perhaps another painter and just try to get there? Swords. Okay. Let's tick up. We mill a knight. I will attack for 7. They have to block. And then just pass. Now we have sword up as well. I think we're in a really strong position. We get to eat graveyards. This was nice. I mean, a turn 1 painter from their side put a lot of stress on our end from turn 1. So to draw that oof, it's just, you know, it's in the deck. That's why you play it, and you just need to get lucky like that sometimes. So oof was definitely MVP in this matchup, at least for game 1. There are 2 more games to go. Opponent is having a really good think about what they have as outs. Because next turn we get to trade probably the Noble Hierarch with the Construct, which takes it out of the way. And then swords the Painter. They go up to 9, and then we have more than enough. Is there a world, if I swords Painter here, they can't go off with 1 card in hand, because they only have access to 4 mana total. Yeah, so actually I'm pretty happy just to swords this right now. I don't think I can get got here, which is nice. Especially with Thalia in play, I think it just costs too much to have a removal spell and activate Grindstone. Yeah. Painter. Painter. I definitely like the forces. The endurances do give us extra time, which is kind of nice, because after they hit us with Grindstone, we then have to go to our draw step to draw a card and then lose the game. But Endurance allows us to put everything from our graveyard into our deck, which is quite nice. That maybe that extra turn is just worth thinking about Endurance. Even as a creature as well, as a 3/4, it's really nice to have. So let's take out... Beast is pretty poor. Ooze is pretty relevant unless they're playing the goblins that allow them to gain an advantage that way. I still think Ooze has some merit in this. Mother's still okay as well, but I could see a trim. I guess I don't want to trim because Mum's just so good at protecting Collector Oof. I'm going to go down on a library. I'm going to go down on Cradle. I don't think this is a matchup where I really need Cradle, and they probably are going to try to keep me off as many creatures as possible. It might... No, I do like the endurances. I think it's going to be Ramen-Up. I don't think I really need Ramen-Up in this matchup. The Wasteland lock is pretty nice, but I think by the time that occurs, we're going to be in a pretty good position if we're allowing that, if my opponent's allowing that to happen every turn. Okay. Interesting hand. Can cast everything. Can get basics early on to play around Blood Moon. We have a Wasteland, but we do just lose to the combo straight up, so I'm pretty happy to mulligan to at least one piece of interaction. Force of Vigor probably being the best one. So we will mulligan this. And we will keep this. It's a one lander, but that's probably okay. I'm going to bottom the Grist. Another land here is pretty nice, because I am just going to go for basic into Noble. Paint is going to be fine. Library is actually pretty perfect here because now I get to play Library and hold up Swords to Plowshares. So if they like try to like Pyroblast that, then we're all good. We also have Force of Vigor open. Yeah, these are pretty nice on MTGO when they do get the extra color added to them. Get to see cards that aren't usually in multicolor, which is pretty cool. Sylvan Library, oof. Nice. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had nice weekends. I assume for a lot of you it is Saturday night. Let me know. It is Sunday afternoon here, which is nice, so... Always a pleasure to have you. Alright, another mountain. Recruiter. Sure. 2 AM? 10 PM? Nice. Very cool. 11:54? Nice. 1 PM, 7 AM, 11 PM? Nice. Hey Singer, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. 12:54 AM? Too kind, you guys. I'm probably happy not swordsing here. Life matters in this matchup. Not too much, thankfully. There isn't too much reach out of this deck. I'm going to assume a lot of their burn is things like a Braid. They might be playing Stomp, but other than that, that's pretty it. Just going to pass like this. I think holding up Sword and Force is fine. I've been playing Cephalid Breakfast for a long time, but right now it's rough. Too much removal in the meta. Prismatic Ending is rough. Yeah. Also because Graveyard Hate is in some main decks because of Urza. Yeah, it got hit pretty badly, let's be honest. Engineer. Sure. Definitely Breakfast is a sweet deck. I really like the builds. I'm not sure if it's just the mainstream build, but the ones that turn into like a Stoneblade deck post-board is pretty sweet. With like True Name, Stoneforge Mystic. But yeah, Breakfast is really nice, but did get hit by a lot of the new cards. That's what you run? Very cool. Nice. Opponent has 4 cards. I could try to hit both of these. I think I will do that. Even if they have a Pyroblast, even just to get rid of the Urza Saga, we can Swords the Painter in response, which isn't too bad. But I feel like if they had a Pyroblast, they would have gone after the Sylvan Library. I think that's a really good asset for me. So my read is that they don't have a library, or they're being really patient on it. Well, they get a pretty good trade here, but still getting rid of the Urza Saga is really nice. I think that's okay. The play here is probably do want to wasteland my opponent. Although getting rid of the engineer is pretty nice as well. Could Green Suns for Scrib Ranger. That's pretty sweet. Use Knight twice. Go down to 5. Interesting spot. I think I'm going to put back the Grist, but I think I will pay for the Savannah. Green Suns for Scrib. Sack the Plains. Go and get a Wasteland. Wasteland the Ancient Tomb, play Savannah, play Mother of Runes, use Scrib Ranger to untap Knight, returning the Savannah, and then we can use this to sack the Snow Covered to go and get a Cradle, which I can't see because we took it out. Okay, adapt, adapt, adapt. We can get Canopy. Cool. I was gonna get Questing Beast, but obviously that doesn't work out, so this is fine. Everything is fine. I also don't have a forest in play to use for Scrib Ranger to untap the Knight, so a little bit rough here. We even talked about it. Sorry, team. That's a misplay. Ooh, fetch straight away. Recruiter. Okay. I don't mind an attack here. They don't attack, but I'll take that. Oh, endurance is pretty nice. Put on top, put on top. Land for turn. I don't mind just getting Collector Oof here, especially seeing that we can just attack here for 9 and have to block. Because if they don't block here, we just get protection next turn. I could also get protection right now if I really wanted to, but happy for this. I don't want to use Scrib Ranger now because I want the Savannah in turn during their turn to use, so... Opponent in a tough spot. They have 3 cards in hand. I believe we know about 1 Painter's Servant. Crater Maker's fine. Ooh. Put on top, put on top. Is there a world where I want to keep one of these? No. Put on top, put on top. Let's get pro-red. See if they want to do anything in response. Attack for 9. I can play Thalia here. I think that's okay. Because if they try to hit the Collector Oof here, we can untap Mum with Scrib Ranger, returning the Savannah, and then get protection again. I think my opponent needs double removal spell here, because Knight next turn with protection is just going to be game. I guess they could have something like Soul Land into Painter and then also have Pyroblast, so that when they Crater Maker the Oof, in response to us trying to untap the Mum with Scrib Ranger, they can Pyroblast the Mother of Runes, which means the Mum dies, the Collector Oof dies to Crater Maker. We then untap, we try to attack with everything, they have blocks, and then they can get there with Grindstone Painter. I think the 3 have to be Painter, Soul Land, Pyroblast. So there was a world where I thought that maybe the Swords of Plowshares matters. And obviously here, with Thalia down, I can't cast it unless I use Script Ranger to untap a creature of mine, like Noble Hierarch. But then I can't use the script for the mum. Cool game. A little bit slow from their side. I mean, Mountain Pass probably isn't the thing you want to be doing in Painter. I think if you do want to play one land pass, it's probably Saga. Saga into Soul Land means you can actually make your construct as soon as turn 2. Nice thing with Script Ranger as well is that Dried Arbor works really well with Endurance. If Endurance is the only card in your hand and you don't have the mana to cast it, you can return Dried Arbor to your hand, untap a creature, and then pitch the Dried Arbor to Endurance, which can definitely get people. I've definitely done it with Force of Vigor, which is really cool. Alright, there's Soul Land. There's Painter. They go for this. Interesting. So what do we got? 3 mana, 1 card in hand. They have to use 1 for this. And they have to sacrifice an artifact as well, so that actually doesn't work. So I think here we just try to... Script Ranger, untap, return. And then give pro. Oh, they have the Pyroblast. Okay. Nice. So this is literally the 3 that we talked about, which is really nice. This is going to be fine because now both Pyroblast and the Crater Maker are going at the mum. I think maybe, and maybe I'm incorrect, maybe I'm not seeing something, but I thought they should have gone Crater Maker on Collector Oof, and then in response to us untapping Mother of Runes with Script Ranger, then Pyroblast the mum. Because now you've 2-for-1'd yourself. Oh, second Endurance is really nice as well, let's be honest. Put on top. Put on top. We are sitting really nice. So what I can do is Swords Painter, they have no cards in hand, and then just swing with a team. Yeah, I think they definitely saw something that I just didn't see. Do I attack with all? Can probably leave the Oof back. Just in case of like a double block into some sort of shenanigans. I'm not sure what they can do off 1 card. I think this is fine. They have to block this. I guess that means the double block wasn't open, so I actually should have attacked with the Collector Oof. That was just an easy 2 damage. And that's actually relevant because it does turn off the Ancient Tomb as well. But happy to get the 3-2. So we beat Delver twice, and then beat Painter, lost to Greenwhite Depths, and Mono-Red Stompy. But if we go to Dech Tech, here's the deck. I thought it was pretty sweet. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I don't know what I would change, if anything, right now. I think the best thing I can do with Maverick is just keep getting reps with the deck and see what actually I need more of. But yeah, the numbers seem really good. Prismatic Ending was fantastic. Endurance was really nice in all the games. If anything, I want to find room for a third library, but I think that's a little bit overkill. But yeah, I felt that was pretty sweet. Kaya for other Kaya. Yeah, the reason that I like this Kaya is mainly the discard, which is pretty nice. Also, the ability to reset things is pretty cool. It's also a bit of reach with the gain life, lose life. But 3 mana Kaya is pretty cool, especially against decks like Delver, where you can kind of attack Murktides by taking out their library and then also attack their threats in 1 CMC creatures, which get exiled to Kaya. But I do like this Kaya as well because it's a little bit harder to hit with Prismatic Ending, being a 4-drop. It does mean my opponents on Bant might have to play something like a Volcanic Island and get it out to actually deal with Kaya, so that does open up Wasteland, which is really nice. The other card I was thinking about was Nissa, Vital Force, which is just a 5 mana walker, and kind of does some nice things against these Bant decks that play a lot of basics. Because Wasteland doesn't have the biggest role in games 2 and 3, it allows you to turn these Wastelands into 5/5 creatures, which means your opponent has to deal with them, and then they're spending removal on a card that they don't really care about, which is really nice. So I do like that. And of course, a 5/5 is bigger than Endurance, which is nice. Pretty common practice, but it is definitely relevant. It is a card that is a little bit harder to hit because something like a Knight, even if it's an 8/8, Endurance just eats it for breakfast. So I do like that. Does it feel significantly underpowered? If you mean like the deck, I don't think it felt that underpowered this game. I think the one thing that really matters is running out of cards. So that's why I really want the extra library, or maybe play around with a build with some main deck walkers to get some value going. I was looking at like Garruk Relentless, which is pretty sweet because it makes creatures. The flip side is really nice. It turns into like a Green Sun Zenith. It is removal as well if I need it. And it's just a sweet walker that's a little bit hard to deal with. Again, being a 4 mana walker puts a bit of pressure on these 3-color Prismatic Ending decks. So Garruk was pretty sweet, but I wasn't too sure where to fit it. I do like Grist as the main deck walker because it can be found with Green Sun Zenith, so as soon as you add 1 into the deck, you virtually have 5 copies, and it does allow you, again, to get that value of, you know, trading a card that isn't that great in a matchup, like Collector Ouphe against Elves, or Thalia against Death and Taxes, or Mother of Runes against something like Eldrazi, that yeah, allows the deck to just gain that little bit of incremental value. Yeah, Nissa Shadow is pretty interesting as well. I believe it relies on land drops. Other cards that I've been trying out, especially in Greenlight Depths, is something like Felidar Retreat, which is pretty sweet. Which I like over Field of the Dead because Field can be a little bit hard to turn on for Greenlight Depths, but Felidar Retreat being a 4 mana spell is pretty nice, a little bit easier to cast. There is the new green one from Commander, which is a 5-drop, and then it comes in with like a counter on it. In your end step, you double those counters and then get a token with power and toughness equal to the amount of counters it has, which is pretty cool. But the difference between 4 and 5 mana was pretty huge, so see how Felidar Retreat goes. As just a one-off as well, it doesn't really see too much play. The only other thought for Maverick in the board was playing some sort of Torpor Orb effect, and then playing maybe some like extra Prismatic Endings or Force of Vigors to deal with artifacts and enchantments, because I don't really want to play Knight of Autumn or Masked Vandal in the same slots as those. Because there are decks like Death and Taxes where you want both Torpor Orb effects and ways to deal with artifacts and enchantments, so that's definitely something to think about. But that's me. A huge thank you everyone who came in and watched. Really nice to be back streaming. Really nice to get some pretty good numbers for Maverick. And yeah, nice to finish with a positive result as a 3-2 before it all goes. Before I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I'm going to see who else is playing. I will be back most likely on Tuesday night. Probably Tuesday night, Thursday night. But we will see how things slide. I believe the Legacy Pit is streaming, which is cool. So I'm going to send you guys over there. But until then, enjoy your weekends. A huge thank you once again. And yeah, peace out. See you soon. More content coming on the Grandson Zenith as well. Love you guys. Bye. Bye. See ya.